Welcome to Exercise Enduring Help 2008, a 24-hour charity enduro for military bikes and personnel. This year's event starts on a sunny May Bank holiday weekend, with riders and teams raring to go. There are two classes in this race, the Harley Davidson class for standard issue 350cc British military Harleys, and the NATO class for, well, just about anything else. This year it's a couple of Honda XR250s and a handful of KTMs. So now we see the teams gathering up for the riders' briefing.
You at the back, double in! 10 bellies!
Enduring Help 2008. I've just got a long list, so it'll be a random list, and here we go. Parking. There is to be no vehicles parked on this training area, as in the pit lane. Childline are also here. Girls in green t-shirts. Hey! We're doing a raffle on behalf of Childline again. Variety of prizes, paintballing, visits to breweries, t-shirts, cider.
Hey, those that don't know me, WS2 Darren Wilcock. I've been clerk of the course for the past couple of days, setting up the course for you. I'm trying to make it as interesting, hard in places, technical, slow and all sorts. One, to try and eliminate any injuries and predominantly look after the safety of the riders. So that's what I've done. So if you don't like it, come and see me after. Right, first of all for the riders. Every rider, or the rider that goes out initially, must wear body armor.
And here we see the bikes all lined up, ready for the start. As we can see from these pictures, the bikes are just standard issue army bikes. No trick enduro machines here. The majority are the twin shock 350cc Harleys. That said, here's one of the Hondas, the 75 bike of the London Regiment. And posing for a photo, number 18 is 580 Glamorgan Transport Squadron, Welsh Transport Regiment, Royal Logistic Corps. And they're just about to go now. That's it, they're away, the start of 24 hours of riding. Our cameraman seems to be taking his life in his hands here. The riders set off in waves, one row at a time, or at least they're supposed to. The first two rows seem to have set off together. And now we head out on the course. The first little ravine, and we find the number 70 KTM of School Nord jumping through. Then the number 11 Harley of the Semi Red team. And not too sure who these guys are, but obviously some of the quicker Harley riders. This is number 5 of 119 Recovery Company, Remy. And over he goes. I think we'll see a bit of this today. Some of these riders have very little experience riding off-road. Next is 38, 9 Supply Regiment Royal Logistics Corps, and going over in the background the 27 bike of DSDA Support Centre Defence Support Group. And now we move further around the corner to one of the first big hills. And the first victim is the number 20 bike of 3 Yorks A team. Those are heavy bikes, especially on that steep hill. Coming past, that looks like the 65 of Support Battalion HQ ARRC. And going their bike into the bushes is number 19, 16 Close Support Medical Regiment. And they get going again, and behind them is the number 11 See Me Red team. And now at the top of that hill, we see the 17 bike of 118 Recovery Company Remy. They're not sure who that is. Is that 35 or 36? Not sure. Then is that the 61 bike? Well, anyway, the third one is the 13 bike of the See Me Green team. And we're onto the infamous Sand Bowl here at the Weaversdown venue, and we see the riders coming through on the first lap. The fast riders go through already building a lead. It's incredibly bright out here on the sand. Our camera is having trouble with the glare of it. And now we can see things getting crowded. Just look at that dust. And it looks like things are coming a little unstuck. If you don't have experience, this soft sand is an absolute nightmare on a bike. Basically, you've just got to hold the throttle wide open. The instant you close it, the front digs in. But of course, holding the throttle open is easier said than done when you can't see where you're going in this terrible dust. The one good thing is that, as you can hear, the wind is blowing the dust away very, very quickly. It's quite hard to see the numbers here with the glare coming off the sand. Now here we can just about make out the 35 bike of HMS Ocean picking themselves up. And they're dropping like flies here. Still they come and still they fall. But actually they're doing really, really well on the whole. Now we're about to see an example of true sportsmanship. A rider falls in front of this guy. He clobbers the fallen man and then stops to check if the downed man is okay. That is the spirit of this event. Well, it really does look like everyone is working really hard out there in the Sand Bowl. It's easy to see how this place has become such an infamous venue. That said, that's what enduro is all about. The tougher, the better. And so we go further round the course again and catch up with the number 19 bike of 16 Close Support Medical Regiment. This next section is a sandy lane. That was 47 bike flying through, 29 JHSU RAF Odium. Then the 13 of the See Me Greens, followed by, is that the 10 bike? Well, this one's the 48 of Armour Centre A. Then it's the 62 of 14 Signal Regiment, and couldn't catch that one, but this third bike is the 53 of 104 FS Battalion Remy. Having a bit of a wobble there, it's Team 34, 21 Signal Regiment. And struggling a bit is 58, 6 Close Support Battalion Remy. And And over they go. Number 16, 118 Recovery Company Remy almost takes our camera with them. And in the background is 31, 30 Signal Regiment and 65 Support Battalion HQ ARRC. And on the quad, we see a marshal being ferried to some part of the course. And this looks like number 9 Harley of 35 Engineer Regiment, riding with confidence, but still coming a cropper. And these next two 350s are the 32 16 Regiment Royal Artillery and 17 118 Recovery Company Remy. And then it's round to this hill climb, a bit easier than the last one though. That was the 63 bike, and then this is the 48 bike again of Armour Centre A, starting to break away with the lead group in the Harley class. And now it's the tortoise and the hare. It's number 38 being passed by. That looks like number 11, the Semi Reds. 66 is the Army Training Centre team. And that is the 53 bike again. And at the top of that hill, as we see 59, 1 Close Support Medical Regiment go by, followed by 43 133 Workshop Company, the riders drop down the other side of the hill.
How are you enjoying it?
Loving it. Hard work.
And that was Armour Centre B, number 49. 46 is SEAE Yellow team, while the Stella bike is the 56 of Team 159 Supply Regiment Royal Logistics Corps. So meanwhile, let's take a look at the pits. There's a strict speed limit as riders come through the pits and pass through the lap scorer's tent. Each lap, the riders pass through this tent and their laps are totted up. As the race goes on, the teams are all working to keep their bike out there.
Wave the camera at this expert precision engineering.
Get a hammer out.
What's happened here?
Angle bars are bent. It's the mountain bolts. Mountain bolts.
Okay.
And still the riders press on. In addition to the normal laps, each team must also complete this special test. The team must push the bike with the engine off around the short course in the quickest time. Here we see the 66 team of Army Training Centre doing their test. They need to get the bike round without breaking the tape, or of course, breaking the bike. And true teamwork. The riders who aren't going out next manhandle the bike round so that their teammate can save his strength. And off he goes. Meanwhile, other teams choose to keep going and do their test later. While we watch this team pushing round, it's worth thinking about this test for the teams. After all, one of these guys will have just come in from the race and so will be knackered, while another guy will be just about to go out and so must save his energy. That only really leaves 2 guys to push this very heavy Harley Davidson round the course. And back to the race, and here we see the number 70 KTM of School Noord, one of the Dutch army teams. Then back to that little ravine we saw at the start, and this is number 30 of Commando Logistics Regiment Royal Marines, doing well there. And then it's the 62 bike of 14 Signal Regiment going for a little excursion in the bushes. These 2 Harleys are the 64 Support Battalion HQ ARRC. And possibly a little too much front brake for the 47 SEAE Silver team.
Right.
Then back on the big hill, it's the 29 of JHSU RAF Odium. Then the number 9 of 35 Engineer Regiment. Both go up the hill, no problem. Now the number 21 of the 3 Yorks B team decide to take a little rest halfway up the hill. Meanwhile, the 30 Commando Logistics Regiment Royal Marines power past, as do the 14 Semi Yellow team, or at least a little way past. And everyone gets going again, and that's the 44 SEAE Blue team going past there. Here they are.
Yeah, I have.
39 there is 3rd UK Division HQ and Signal Regiment. Then 62 14 Signal Regiment. And here we are back in the sand bowl again. We can see that the riders are starting to get signs of fatigue now. The 15 bike paddling through there is 1 Royal School of Military Engineering, and if we look in the background we see the number 50 Armour Centre C rider doing some acrobatics. But he's straight back on the bike. And straight back off it again. But give him his due, he really gets to grips with it now. Meanwhile, others struggle on. Even the mighty sand experts, the Dutch, stop for a breather. The number 6 47 Signal Squadron do a quick stop and go, but nearly take the number 9 35 Engineer Regiment with them. Some riders, though, have no problems in the sand. Further round, and we see that some of the bikes are already losing bits. And some bikes are just conking out there. This is the number 20 3 Yorks A again, and behind it's 30, the Commando Logistics Regiment Royal Marines. And then the 11 of the Simi Red team, who seem to be forging a bit of a lead at this point. And on the hill, the steady approach from 33, 24 Regiment RCC. And over the hill, the 27 bike of DSTA Support Centre DSG goes by. And then the 30 again, followed by number 8, 150 Recovery Company 103 Battalion Remy. And now onto a part of the course we haven't yet seen. We can see a bit of speed difference between the more and less experienced riders. That's the number 2 bike of 5 Training Regiment Royal Logistic Corps. And that's the number 11 Harley Davidson again. Then number 19, 16 Close Support Medical Regiment goes by. This is 25, 1 UK Armoured Division and Signal Regiment. And 64 Support Battalion HQ ARRC. And further round we see 61, 14 Signal Regiment without a headlight. And number 4, 28 Engineer Regiment without a tail light. Coming down the hill, it's at number 2 again of 5 Training Regiment Royal Logistic Corps, going well. Here's the 69 KTM of 13 Infantry Battalion from the Netherlands. And then jumping into the corner, the 11 bike of the Simi Reds again. Right, this little gaggle of bikes is 57, 6 Close Support Battalion Remy, 47 SEAE Silver, and 15, 1 Royal School of Military Engineering. And the next group of bikes, I think that's the 32 in front of 16 Regiment Royal Artillery, and I can't quite see the numbers on the others, but I'm sure we'll see them again in a minute. This is clear enough, it's 65 Support Battalion HQ ARRC again. At the top of the hill we see 62, 14 Signal Regiment, and then I'm not quite sure who that is behind them. But this is the 70 KTM of School Nord. Taking a detour through the bushes. But there you go, back on course. Now we see the riders keeping right here because just to the left is a surprisingly deep mud hole. It doesn't look deep, but after several bikes got stuck there, the riders learnt to avoid it. And number 6, doing just that, is 47 Signal Squadron, 71 Signal Regiment. And then number 7, 156 Transport Regiment, Royal Logistics Corps Volunteers. We've moved round the course again, and this is 41, 1 Regiment AACB, and at the same corner, it's number 5, 119 Recovery Company Remy, followed by the 24 KTM of Kraftfahrausbildungszentrum Münster, which I'm told means Motor Vehicle Training Centre of Münster. 15 next is 1 Royal School of Military Engineering, showing how it should be done. And number 35, HMS Ocean, show how not to do it. That's the 69 KTM of the Dutch 13th Infantry Battalion. There we are, HMS Ocean are going again. And that's 42. Unfortunately not on our rider list, but they seem to be going well. And here we come to another short but tricky hill climb. The 57 6 Close Support Battalion Remy have a bit of a moment there.
You alright?
This looks like 61 14 Signal Regiment, veering off course a bit there. The 44 bike did well to stay on there as he passes the slower bike on the hill. Not all of the course is up and down hills. Here we see a flat section, although that too has its hazards. Fallen trees, stumps and roots all just waiting to catch a rider out. On this section we see soft sand and rocks, never a good combination. And this rider is limping his Harley back to the pits with a foot peg hanging off. And the next bit, the 46 bike here, misjudged the little hill. But no harm done. That's 39, 3rd UK Division Headquarters and Signal Regiment. And from this angle we can see what riders find as they come over that crest. The 25-1 UK Armoured Division and Signal Regiment go through there. This is 56 159 Supply Regiment Royal Logistics Corps stalling, but gets going again. Then number 8 150 Recovery Company 103 Battalion Remy. 64 next is Support Battalion HQ ARRC. 72 on the KTM. 11 Bivosi, I think that's one of the Dutch teams in the NATO class. Then 53 104 FS Battalion Remy. And we're not quite sure who the next team are. And this is number 15, 1 Royal School of Military Engineering, dumping it right in front of the camera. And I'm not sure who that is trying to ride up the bank. Number 16 going down the hill is 118 Recovery Company Remy. Okay, now this is nearly back at the pits at the end of the lap. Riders crest this hill and in the distance there, through the trees, is the pits area. And so let's take a look at the pits. Here we see a marshal taking another out to the course. It's worth noting that the speed limit in the pits lane also applies to the marshals. That's Andy Greenwood going through there. Meanwhile, the race goes on and on and on into the night. That's the lap scorer's tent. Riders must pass through each lap.
We must change a part of the motor
Yep.
of the engine
Yep.
because stone had broken
The engine. Yeah.
the engine. Yeah,
The stone broke the engine.
yeah. A little part of the engine at the side.
Okay. So do you think you'll be back out? Do you think you'll go back? You continue to ride?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
bike is still going.
Okay.
Change a part and everything is alright.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, good
So
ride.
you're having a good day?
Yeah,
Yeah?
great.
Cool. Wow, look at that.
Niet die tuta, man.
Okay. Broken engine casing.
So there you have it. Problems for some and others just swapping riders with no problems at all.
How's it going?
First one.
Yeah?
First time.
First time?
Yeah.
Excellent. How are you finding it?
Good. Got fun. The best event I've done yet.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about now that it's got dark?
You get the dust in your eyes and it comes up. You can't really see with the lights, but you let the people faster boats go past and just ride it out.
Keep on going. Nice one. And the bike, it's alright? Any problems?
Yeah, no, I'm running really well.
Yeah?
Yeah, brilliant.
Brilliant. Alright.
Cheers.
Good, cheers.
What are you up to?
Keeps catching his sole of his boot on it. He's peeling the sole off.
Oh, okay.
It'll be evidence of him working in. Haynes manual event, isn't it?
No, you're alright. No evidence. What's up with it?
Just change the wheel. So
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up with it?
No electrics. No electric. Lost all electrics.
Lost all electrics.
Typical.
Typical.
We're in the zone.
Yeah. What's up with it? Clutch's gone. How long have you been in the pit? Yeah.
Like 2 hours. 2 hours.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Can't get a spin.
Oh, bloody hell.
Well, as you've heard, trials and tribulations for some of the teams as the race goes on. And just when the teams thought things couldn't get any worse, the rain sets in. And as you can see from these pictures, it wasn't just showers. The rain just kept getting heavier and heavier as the night wore on. Out on the course, the dusty going of the previous day was quickly replaced by slippery mud for the entire length of the course.
Say anything?
No, really happy. Obviously the events run well. 3 major injuries.
Yep.
The majority of people have enjoyed it. Obviously had the little drama at 2:30 this morning when the rain absolutely bucketed down when we had to cancel it. But I think the lads were probably appreciative of that. That had a couple hours skip, could sort the bikes out and so on. And we started back up again at 6:30 this morning. So
Cool.
that's run well.
Excellent. Cheers. How's it going? You enjoyed the race? Do you think you're winning?
Not winning, but we're not doing bad.
Good. Cool. Okay. And the bikes? Any problem with the bikes? No problem. Okay.
All good.
Cool.
So, only the weather could have been better.
Yeah. That's England. How's the race?
Yeah, it's been really good. Yeah, good weather.
Yeah. So mechanicals, anything?
We changed the timing belt, but just out of precaution, not really. Didn't go.
Yeah.
Just halfway through.
No injuries?
A couple of bad ankles, a couple of bad knees. That's about it.
Bent handlebars.
Bruises, bent handlebars. Yeah.
And back in the sand bowl, we see things haven't changed much. Although the sand now wet is firmer to ride on, the riders themselves are knackered by this stage in the race, and holding these heavy bikes on course can be a challenge. This next section is tough going now that it's wet through. What was soft sand has formed into deep ruts, requiring a good technique and energy to ride over. As we see here, this rider's having to dig deep to keep going. And this is number 30, Commando Logistics Regiment, Royal Marines.
What's up?
Clutch cable gone.
You got a spare?
Yeah, it's already on the bike, so I just got to change it over. Should be sorted.
Cool.
We're the Navy team, so it's all new to us. Live and learn.
Yeah. How are you finding the course out here?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah?
Yeah, we tried cracking on through the night last night, you know, but it's quite difficult last night in the rain at 3:30.
Tough, wasn't it?
And then they sort of cancelled at 6:30. But I did a night jacket here 2 years ago. You know, so it's quite good fun. Do enjoy it.
Nice bit of land, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's tough. We had a cable in place already.
57 here is 6 Close Support Battalion Remy doing well. Getting a little bit stuck, but soldiering on. The 72 KTM of 11 Bivosi across the ruts there, and nearly collecting our cameraman. This is 54, 108W Squadron Royal Monmouthshire. On a more open section, again sandy and again wet, we see the 24 KTM of the German Kraftfahrausbildungszentrum Münster team. The number 4 Harley, getting bogged down here, is 28 Engineer Regiment. '52 is 6 Close Support Battalion Remy picking their way through the puddles there. Another of the faster teams, 62 14 Signal Regiment. Well, I think the less said about that, the better. This is another part of the course we've seen before that's been transformed due to the wet weather. And this could be 28 158 Royal Anglian Transport Regiment Royal Logistic Corps.
You alright?
Yes, thank you. Minor ongoing adjustments.
Right.
Now this team are worth a mention. In fact, all the School of Electrical and Aeronautical Engineering teams won the Lieutenant Colonel Bob Birrell Cup in this event for hosting the Childline VIP guest rider and also for bringing lots of younger riders to the event. Oops, 2 bikes nearly coming together there, both on the same rut I guess. Just look at that mud. And the number 47 SEAE Silver team have got going again after the adjustments. Oh dear, I bet he wishes he'd stayed put. '21 is 3 York's B team. Oh dear, we see the Marshal ferrying an injured rider back to the pits on one of the quads that were here for that very purpose. This is the 7 bike of 156 Transport Regiment Royal Logistic Corps. And tiredness is really setting in now. And another bike goes over. I'm not sure who this is though.
Hold on.
That's great to see though, isn't it? This is the real spirit of the event. Riders mucking in and helping each other out. Well done to whoever that team is. And at the bottom of the hill again, I think that's the number 4 28 Engineer Regiment going past and coming a cropper. And one of the Dutch team takes a tumble too. And what happens at the top of that hill? They go straight down the other side, and talk about slippery. The number 8 of 150 Recovery Company 103 Battalion Remy slither past. And our cameraman is actually waiting with an injured rider here as he's filming. Then 12, the See Me Blue team go past. The 52 bike of Close Support Battalion Remy pass next. Then 29, JHSU RAF Odium dump it right in front of the camera. The 24 Motor Vehicle Training Centre from Munster doing well there. And let's go back to the pits for the final few words.
Just like to know how you got on.
Yeah, really, really well. Started out really well. The rain came down last night.
Yeah.
And fine, with a bit of failed clutch earlier.
Right.
A bit of failed clutch lever. This is our team captain, Dixie Dean.
Right. Hello.
From Express Ocean, didn't we? Yeah.
How did you get on out there?
Yeah, not too bad. I was first one out.
Yeah.
Took a while getting to know the course. Obviously it was busy.
Yeah.
And then times got quicker until it started raining. It got dark and rained at the same time, so that really changed things out there.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. Steep learning curve, but I think we'll be back next year, you know.
Yeah.
Saving next year.
Yeah.
Things might get better.
Nice one.
There you go.
Okay. Good. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
Well, another year's come and gone. Exercising during health is an amazing and a unique event. And it's like coming back home every year to see you guys coming back and trying your best. Every single one of you, ladies and gentlemen, and your families that have turned up here this weekend, you're all, every one of you, winners. Every single one of you. And I take my hat off to all of you riding your motorcycles in these conditions. I heard a lot of remarks from teams when we walked around all the tents how much you enjoyed the sand section. I can see your smiling little faces now. Honestly, absolutely fantastic event. You've put your machines yourselves and tested yourselves to the limit. More importantly, you've gone the extra mile to change people's lives from 2 charities and organisations, that being Childline and St Dunstan's. And believe you me, the money that you raise is used to change people's lives. Now, it now brings me up to the part where we give an award, the Spirit of St Dunstan's Award. Now, if I had my own way, I would give the award to all of you. Now, we had some deliberation. The award this year was so very, very hard to choose. All elements of the armed services were represented here, from the Royal Navy, the Army, the Army, and the Royal Air Force. Not to mention the multinational element, that being the Dutch, and our friends from the Bundeswehr. Fantastic, it's brilliant to see you all here. And all the units coming from all places over the UK and Europe. going the extra mile. God bless you for that. So, without further ado, we came up with this result for the Spirit of St Dunstan's Award. They came prepared with a life ring because they knew it was going to rain. Put your hands together for team number 35, HMS Ocean.
Okay, look over it.
Two people have made this event their own, and it's with great regret that they're now handing the baton over to somebody else. He looks a bit dodgy to me, doesn't he, Doc? It's a small gift and a small token of appreciation, but I really want you to raise the roof now and give these two people the biggest cheer and clap you can, and that is for Marco and Ellen. For all.
Right, just go on. We've done two classes, the Moto class, which is KTMs, the Hondas and anything else somebody dreams up. And we also run the Harley Davidson class. So to present the Moto class, first place goes to Team 69, the 13th Battalion.
Right, this one's quite interesting in Harley class. Third place with 61 laps, which we actually had to fit 3 teams for the third place because you all came in. But we did like special test time and they beat the others by over 10 seconds. And that's team 14.